as the niece knows, the problem with the water and the avenues over this summer was Canocti, who provides water to the avenues, number one, their line only goes out into the lake 400 feet in the lowest point. The other two water companies, theirs goes out tremendously further, and therefore they were getting a better water, and they were not sucking the gunk off of the bottom of the lake. Number one. Number two, if you people really think you're going to stop growing in this town, you might as well forget it. Because I'll be quite honest with you, in 4 years, in fact over 4 years, you have had no code enforcement. So in turn, in that length of time, you have allowed people to grow and grow and grow. And they're already enrooted into this area. Now, Craig Clausen does not have enough officers to go out and check all of these groves. All he can do is when somebody calls him up and say, hey, I got somebody over here that's growing pot, he has to take his manpower and go over there and check on it. Whereas it was not his place in the beginning. When this ordinance was put into place, it was code enforcement that was supposed to take care of this issue. Also, your director of finance here, I think his maps were a little exaggerated because, number one, you haven't had code enforcement, so how can you be spending any money for the overgrowth? But number two, since he claims he's not a community development person, his maps and him could not tell you whether those were 50 by 100 lots or 100 by 100 or 200 by 200. And therefore, those maps were a little misconceiving because if you have 100 plants on a 50 by 100 lot, it's going to look like terrible. It's going to look like you're growing every place. But if you have a 100 by 100 lot, it's not going to look near as bad. If you got a 200 by a 200 lot, which some people in the avenues do, and quite a few people do, then they're going to be more spread out, and in turn, it's not going to look like you have as much growth going either. So in turn, unless you come up with a really good plan to take and eradicate the marijuana from this city, then you might as well forget it. Because claiming, oh, we got this ordinance that's going to take and eradicate all the marijuana. But if you don't have the people to enforce the ordinance, it's shot. So the next time you come up with an ordinance, people are just going to go, another stupid ordinance the city came up with. Thank you.
Adelia Leonard, a citizen of Clearlake. I'm a grower. I grow for my 4-year-old son who has epilepsy and autism. I live on an acre. I grow 6 plants. I do not use fertilizer. I do not use any chemicals. In the beginning of this gentleman's presentation, there was a lot of generalizations and lumping of growers into one category. At the very end, he finally said that it's not everybody, even though he continued to say they, as in us as the growers, are behaving illegally. We're not being responsible, which that's not the growers that are doing it for patients, that's the criminals. And the criminals don't care what you do. This is the first year that the city of Clearlake has had an ordinance. It was unenforceable. There were many times that citizens called the police and the police told them, it's not our job, we're not going to respond, we can't do anything about it, which is unfortunate. You talk to some of the elected officials, they have the same response. There's not enough fight in this ordinance. There's nothing that you can do. So what happened was, you have growers that have been growing for years, they've had no rules, they either don't care or they don't know about the ordinance, so they just continue to grow what they were going to grow. And so because of how bad this year went, you're going to punish the legitimate people that actually follow the ordinance, and there are a lot of us. And it's not fair to punish us off of the other people. I think that you do need to revise the ordinance. You need to make it to where it's enforceable. You need to make it to where if people are breaking the rules, you can go and cut down their plants, and you can fine them if they are over what they're supposed to have. That's going to help fund your code enforcement. I think that the people that are coming here that are not from Lake County, that are growing, we need to run them out. They're not a part of our community. They're doing it because they can get away with it, and it's not fair to the patients. He talked about indoor grows. We don't want the indoor grows. We want to grow outdoors. That's what's best for our plants. That's what we want to do. That's how we want to keep it. On top of that, the county just passed an ordinance, and all of those growers from the rest of the county, they all flocked to Clearlake this season because they knew they could get away with it. So let's crack down on them. Please do not take away growing from our city. Keep the plants, count what it is on the parcels of what it is. Just make it more enforceable. Have some compassion. Work with the patients because we want to work with you. We want to follow the rules. You want us to have to fill out paperwork with you and pay to have our plants, we'll do it. You tell us what you want us to do and we will comply. The criminals, cut down their plants. Thank you.
Yeah.